Not to me.
All right, welcome back to another MinneSports podcast. I'm here with Sam Easty and Calvin Bonin. We got a new voice to add to the podcast here today.
Right.
But yeah, so that's exciting. But anyways, we're gonna start off with some terrific or terrible, and I think Sam has got something right off the bat.
It's been a while since we did a podcast, about 2 weeks, and honestly, a lot of events have taken past the past 2 weeks.
They have.
I really wish we got one done last week because that's the majority of my questions. But you know what? Let's just start it off, shall we? This happened about 2 weeks ago on Monday. The Philadelphia Eagles did win the 2018 Super Bowl, as we all know. And traditionally, the winners go to the White House, right? So the Eagles had all these. I'm just saying as it is. I'm not going to throw any bias out there. I'm not supporting one side until I give my take. I'm just giving the story how it is. So obviously, they were supposed to meet there. Philadelphia originally promised 60 players and like 1,000 fans, something really crazy like that. But with the whole Trump-Kim summit that got in the way, things kind of got messed around. But then Philadelphia all of a sudden only offered up 7 players to go. So then Donald Trump just basically said, no, that's not going to work, sorry. And they couldn't reschedule, so they basically canceled on them. Is that terrific or terrible, Nolan O'Hara?
I don't know. The whole thing is kind of a mess. I don't know. I don't like either side of it because with going to a White House visit, it's not. Whether you agree with the person or not. It's just
Correct.
To go. You won the Super Bowl, so I don't like the idea of politics getting in the way of a celebration like that. I also don't like the whole, some of the players don't agree with me, I'm just going to rescind the visit either. So both sides, I'm just going to say it's terrible all the way around. I don't like either side of that.
All right, Calvin?
Yeah, I agree. It's terrible for the precedent that it's setting for other sports teams.
We've seen that with basketball.
Yeah, I mean, this idea that a lot of times, if you win the championship in your respective sport, it's you just go whether you agree with the president or not. It's about the honor. It's about the honor of going. It's about celebrating your team's accomplishment. It's just a really unfortunate situation, and I do think that the president was kind of put in a tough situation. If you have a situation where not everybody on the team wants to go, and you're only there with a couple of guys, it looks kind of awkward and weird. Sure, there might be some players that want to go and have that experience, but without the whole team, it just kind of seems weird. And it's really unfortunate that with this administration, teams are choosing not to go. I think Steve Kerr said that Golden State's not going.
Even LeBron James made that clear.
Yeah, and
he knew
it's
the team was going to lose. Anyways,
it's kind of something. You go for your parade when you win. You get you interact with your fans in the cities. I don't know. I think the White House visit should be something, and we shouldn't really open the door. I mean, people should have a right to make a choice, but I think it's going to be unfortunate now because now if teams want to go there, are you saying you like the president?
Exactly.
It's up to all these politics.
It's going to be a media outrage disaster.
So I kind of went off on this, but yeah, I think it's terrible.
It's not a political statement just to go to the White House and celebrate a win. And that's what. And when people go there, they're like, "Oh, you're supporting him." No, you're not supporting him. You're just going to visit the White House.
Exactly.
And that's everybody's overreacting to.
It just needs to be said, right?
Yeah.
Go to the White House, shake his hand, and just leave. You don't support him.
You don't have. Yeah. It's not a political act.
Tradition. Tradition.
Right now, you're really seeing a lot of athletes thinking that they're responsible for using their platform to promote what they believe, and I think there's a time and a place for that. But I feel like some of them kind of feel like they're forced to do it now because that's what everybody's doing, and there's certainly nothing wrong with just saying I want to go visit the White House to visit it. I don't necessarily agree with the administration, but just keep upholding the tradition, and you don't need to make a political stance on everything now. You know, you can keep it
Right.
nonpartisan. So
Okay.
that's my take.
All right, so that's done. Moving on to Minnesota Twins.
Wait, one more quick thing. I got one more terrific or terrible thing.
You do. I have a lot more to go, but you know what? Please add yours. Right
I'll
now,
just
so I don't
we can
leave you
throw in
embarrassed.
at least this one more, but
Say it right now.
LeVar Ball just
Oh,
came out
okay.
and said
Moving on. I know
that
it's
that
this
LiAngelo Ball
Oh,
will be rookie of the year if he plays for the Lakers. Is this terrific or terrible, Sam?
This is obviously terrific. Is this not terrific? This guy, you know what? I'm gonna call it right now. He is going to be the last pick in the draft. The Lakers are gonna realize they made a huge mistake. Actually, you know what? No.
Do the Lakers have the last pick?
You know what? They're gonna trade down for the last pick.
Okay,
They're gonna trade down. For
Hot
this
take
last
right
pick.
here. Hot take.
No, this isn't a hot take. This is a safe take because it's gonna happen. You know.
A safe take?
Oh yeah, they're gonna trade down, draft him. You know what? Screw this LeBron James.
What's a safe take?
Kawhi
Like
Leonard.
you take extra napkins at the.
Oh no, this is gonna happen.
It's safe. You're not, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, go on. Just go on, Sam.
This is gonna happen. Kind of like how the Cavaliers got swept. Everyone predicted that. But anyways, I knew I gave Noah a little look right there. He knows why. Well, it's obvious. They're gonna say LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. Who are they? We need LiAngelo Ball, the Lithuanian superstar who scored 50 points on 15-year-olds last year. This is gonna be terrific. He's gonna be unanimously Rookie of the Year. It's gonna be obvious. It's not even a surprise. No one's gonna go crazy. It's gonna be like, oh, we expected that. DeAndre Ayton, Marvin Bagley, Luka Doncic, whatever. Those are just potential or bust. If you want a for sure player, you pick them last. Shock the world.
All right, I'm just gonna come out and say that it's terrible. We're gonna get into this in a little bit. Where's LeBron gonna go? I think the whole LeVar Ball, the Ball family situation, it's not helping LeBron. I mean, that's not what I mean. It's not helping the Lakers get LeBron. LeBron wants to go somewhere.
Why does he not want to be involved in the family? It's a really good show. I watch it every
you know
week.
what? Yeah. I think LeBron kind of wants to go out into the reality game and just forget about winning championships and forget about his legacy. Okay.
He wants to be in more movies.
All right. Let's be serious now. LeBron doesn't want to deal with a sideshow, and we'll get into this later. But I think we're all tired of the Ball family. Like I'm sick of hearing LeVar Ball.
ESPN's not.
Yeah.
FS1 is not.
Oh, there was definitely a point where that's all I heard about the Ball family. And I mean, you know, it makes interesting TV. And you know what? LeVar Ball did raise 3 kids that are good basketball players, and they're not like bad people.
No.
So I'm not.
Well, but
I'm
besides the China incident.
Okay, that was a little interesting right there. But just the things that he says are just. Dude, you're a dad of the person on the team. This isn't JV basketball where you can go up and talk to the coach and like get mad at the coach, but it's on a national platform. This is ridiculous. And you know, I know I'm getting off topic, but I'm gonna get back to the point. You saying that your son is gonna be the Rookie of the Year when he's probably not gonna he's definitely not gonna get drafted 2 overall like Lonzo did. Putting that kind of pressure on him. It's just not good in the public eye. So I think it's terrible.
I don't know. I actually do think it's terrific, but for a different reason than that. He's definitely not going to be drafted. But you know what? I wouldn't be shocked if it happens if he gets picked up by the Lakers D-League team, and then just for the sake of a headline at this, because the Lakers are trying to stay relevant. They have a team that's going nowhere right now. Kawhi Leonard's not going to happen. I know we're going to get into that later, but they need something to keep them relevant.
Okay, can I
and
ask?
if they start this, whole media circus with the Ball family, I think it's going to happen. He's going to end up playing on the D League team in LA.
Okay, so I have a question on that.
The D-League.
So do you think that at this point, considering the fact that the Ball family could actually maybe hinder how the Lakers are going to get players, and I mean that sideshow is annoying, but do you think that the having all this press that they get from the Ball family, do you think that's a net positive or a net negative for the Lakers in terms of being more relevant? Because if you have this sideshow with LeVar and all this media circus, it kind of deters some people from. It could possibly deter some people from wanting to play there. So do you think that that's a net positive or a net negative?
I think it's positive. All press is good press.
All right, fair
but
enough.
Not wrong.
Do you think it's going to make them a better team in the long run, though?
Well, no, it doesn't matter if they're a better team. All it matters is that they're making money. You know, whether the Lakers are going to be a good team or not is going to depend on how these young players play. If they can get if it's a good team, regardless of the media circus, players will want to play. You know, if Lonzo Ball ends up being a really good point guard, he'll be like, you know, not saying he's Chris Paul, but people want to play with Chris Paul. You know, if Lonzo ends up being a good point guard, he moves the ball around, the team starts doing better. Players will want to play there, regardless of the media circus or not. So all press is good press. It'll make the Lakers money, you know. As long as the Lakers are hearing their name in the media, they'll be happy. So.
Okay. Well.
Since it has been so long since. Wait, did you say something about the Twins? It has been a long time. We haven't even covered the NBA Finals or the Stanley Cup.
We still have our Terrific Terrible segment to go.
All right. Twins.
Don't be jumping around.
All right.
Calm down.
I'm jumping the gun here. We got more Terrific or Terrible.
These are probably going to be more quicker ones than the first one I discussed. I think they are pretty important topics we do need to talk about, though. Miguel Sano has been slumping this season, and as of yesterday, or 2 days ago, I believe, he was demoted down to Single A Fort Myers affiliate. Now, remember, he was a former All-Star last year, and this is his make-or-break year to become a superstar, and it seems like he's almost failed. Is this terrific or terrible that Miguel Sano is going down to Single A?
Well, how could it possibly be terrific? This is terrible. I mean, the Twins are a disaster. These free agent signings are not what we expected. They're not going to make the playoffs now. I think they're 5 games behind the Indians. So, and now their, best bat is going to Single A. Their best bat from last year.
Best bat right now is Eddie Rosario.
I said best. I mean best bat from last year. I mean, he was an all-star third baseman.
Yeah.
And now he's going to Single A. I mean, it's a disaster. The Twins all the way around are a disaster right now.
Yeah.
All right. So has he been in any other minor league affiliates, or did they just send him right down?
They sent him right down there.
Is it no injuries or anything?
No.
He
sucked.
This is crazy. Let me explain something to you. Single A is for players who got injured and they're trying to rehab. What is going on with the Twins right now? I mean, I don't know. I mean, okay. So I shouldn't criticize the Twins because I want to put emphasis on. It's so crazy that they're sending, it's so crazy that Sano's in this situation where he was a great player last year. Now they're sending him down to Single A. This is obviously terrible, and it's a lot of. It's a common occurrence with the Twins. You think we get somebody good, and they just kind of peter out. Joe Mauer's a good example of this.
We've seen it this year. They tried playing the Billy B and let's pay cheap on all these free agents, and almost all of them have flopped. It's honestly so bad. There's only a few I could say, all right, I guess we got our money back. But for people like Lance Lynn, Logan Morrison, oh my goodness.
The point is this.
Thrown away. It's pennies.
When you're a small market team, you have such little margin for error.
Very.
You gotta do a good job at evaluating talent, good job at coaching, good job at drafting. And what you will end up happening is if you don't have a consistently good front office, you're gonna. I mean, they were good last year, right?
They made the playoffs. Well, we weren't exactly great, but we made the playoffs as a wild card.
It's just the Twins. The Twins haven't been super relevant, and It's come to the point. I was actually listening to one of the older podcasts where you talk about the Twins moves, and yeah, it's time for them to make a splash. I know we don't want to sign a bad deal.
We don't want a Pablo Sandoval or what could be a Yu Darvish coming up here.
Otherwise, you're just gonna be living in mediocrity until you can change how you draft and develop players. So yeah.
Okay.
Man, I keep getting off on tangents.
All right. Well, we have another topic that came out. I believe this was today. The NFL is going to consider removing the kickoff altogether if the concussion rate on kickoffs stay the exact same. Terrific or terrible?
Terrible. They didn't end up doing that this year. They were talking about it. That's the stupidest idea I've ever
this
heard.
will most likely, if it does stay the same, this will most likely happen next year.
If that's gonna be terrible,
Okay.
because people who watch football don't want to see it being changed. Nobody wants to see them change football. That's the dumbest idea ever. Kickoffs. You might as well not even have a kicker on the roster soon enough. It's not even gonna matter. Just have your punter do everything. It's stupid, idiotic, terrible. There's.
Man, we've been in agreement on a lot, and I agree on this too. It's terrible. There are players in the NFL who are kick return specialists, who are some of the most exciting players to watch.
Devin Hester, his career was basically built off kickoffs, is it not?
Yeah.
And now they're going to be out of the jobs. And who's going to lose? The fans are going to lose because that's going to eliminate a very exciting play. It's something that can change the course of the game.
There's many things.
The players,
go ahead, finish.
yeah. The players who are the individuals who are putting their bodies at risk are going to end up losing too because they're going to be out of jobs. They're making a conscientious decision to play NFL football and get paid a lot of money for it. And I get how we want to make the game safer, but they signed up for this. So, I'm not for people, ruining their lives because they played football and got concussions. But maybe don't eliminate the kickoff. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a similar thing where you're kind of getting rid of some of the things that make football great, but maybe a little bit more stricter penalty enforcements on the kickoff. But don't get rid of it. Don't just go straight to that. I think that's terrible.
I think people are missing the point where the kickoff returns are great, but what about the onside kicks?
That's a good point.
Those have changed playoff history. Remember when Green Bay lost the 2015 NFC Championship when Seattle kicked an onside kick and their tight end fumbled the ball, turned it over, gave Seattle the win, and sent them to the Super Bowl instead. Remember that play?
Oh yeah,
it was awesome to watch, obviously.
Yeah, it was a great.
We don't remember that. There's many.
I think that's the one that the common man calls the greatest moment in Vikings history.
It probably was, and we ended up signing that tight end also after the season. I thought it was really funny, but yeah, there's so many other great plays. I've always been a fan of those initial onside kicks, like either the start of the first half or second half, that just throw everyone off. There's also people who are super good at them, and now that play's gone. Kickoffs are gone. Like Cordero Patterson's main job might be gone next year.
I wanna mention one more thing on that point. So I think that overall it's been a net positive to move the point after back a little bit because it was a little too easy.
Yep.
The one thing that I noticed that people didn't talk about is it eliminates the fake field goal for the 2-point conversion. Now if you want to go to the 2-point conversion, they always it doesn't eliminate it. They can still do it, but they do it from back. So that's definitely something that you can live with. How
often did you see that?
Not very often.
It's almost as often as the onside kick. Almost less.
But okay, so all I'm saying is that it eliminates a potential point of strategy that takes out the human and the coaching element of it, and that's another thing that makes it less interesting to watch.
Yep.
There's this unpredictability, and if we just start everything at the 25, what are we gonna do? Somebody's down by 2 scores and they need to kick an onside kick, or are we just gonna just do an onside, just like only allow random onside kicks, or
burn all your time?
I don't know.
Pray for the ball.
I don't know, man.
So, yeah, the one more thing on this note is this isn't the 1950s anymore. They know the risks of playing football. If you don't like the risks, you don't have to play football. And if you can retire early, there are measures you can
Calvin
take.
Johnson
People have done that. Oh yeah.
But if you're that worried about the risks, don't need to play football. Otherwise, if you play football, you know the risks. It's not the NFL's job to try to police it, make it safer.
Yep.
Players know the risks,
Yep.
and that's all it comes down to.
I got one more for sure. This is probably going to be a longer podcast, or initial hour, just because it's been 2 weeks. There's so much to cover, so much more discussion. But I do have one more for Trivia Table. This is also happening this weekend. The U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills. Really, really high scores. You don't see this at other tournaments like the Masters or any other tournament like that. These are pretty high scores. Only on Friday right now, Dustin Johnson's down 4. The next is even or +1. I can't tell you right now. But we had a bunch of golfers like Tiger Woods, Bubba Watson, Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, all missed the cut because of this really difficult course. Is this terrific or terrible for golf?
Terrible. Ratings are going to be way down.
Okay.
When it's a bunch of players you don't know the names of watching, people, Tiger Woods missing the cut, obviously I'm a big Tiger fan, but so is most of America. And when Tiger Woods misses the cut, the ratings are automatically way down. It's because people don't want to watch as many other people. I mean, it's good that Dustin Johnson's there, so there's still at least a big name. But when all these big names get cut, that's just going to be disaster for the ratings.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's terrible. Golf fans, a lot of people watch golf because it's cool, but there's definitely this element of wanting to be a fan of your favorite golfer, and when he's not in it, it changes the whole experience of watching it.
And those 5 golfers that I named that got cut, that's got to be close to about 80% of almost to 90% of the people who are the fans are rooting for.
It's good when, and this is going to be, I don't know if this will ever happen, but can you imagine how exciting it would be if you saw Tiger and Spieth battling out, or Tiger and Rory, Tiger and one of the younger, newer generations?
Maybe 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, one of the younger players that we've never seen before, battle it out with Tiger. It's more exciting when you got these big names vying for the championship. Now it's going to be like, oh, Dustin Johnson, we want Dustin Johnson to win, but who else is up there going against him? I'm a huge Jordan Spieth fan, and when he's not playing, it's just you can respect the shots, but when you're a true fan of a golfer and they're not in there, it just ruins it for you.
So happy my man in orange, Ricky Fowler, made the cut.
Oh yeah,
I might still tune in a little bit after I watch a little bit of World Cup soccer.
I'll still watch on Sunday, but it's just
everyone
not
everyone watches the final 9 holes.
It's just not the same as watching when Tiger's playing.
Of course not. Yeah, you want to turn on. All right, so we're gonna go to the NBA next. Is there anything you want to start discussing in the NBA? I know we have 3 or 4 topics.
Let's just begin with the Wolves. I mean, this is a MinneSports podcast.
Man.
There's been a lot of news with the Wolves.
All right, so could you please name off all the stories that kind of came out today?
Well, let's start with this one. This one definitely did come out. There were 2 kind of big breakers that happened today. Apparently Tyus Jones was unhappy with his playing time, wanted to leave, but met with Tom Thibodeau, and that seemed to calm him down, and he's not asking out at this moment anymore. And also coming out today, Jimmy Butler was not happy with Wiggins during this past season. There was a lot of, arguments between him and Wiggins about Wiggins' effort in practice and his effort on the defensive end of the ball. So these are 2 pretty big stories leaking now. And I don't know, what do you think this all means here for the Wolves coming up? This is pretty big news.
What was Tyus Jones trying to get out of this, though? Was he
more playing time?
So he's trying to make a move and go to... He can't be... No way he's going to a... It's difficult because, I don't know. I thought he was getting fair playing time with the Wolves. We're an up-and-coming team.
It would all depended. Like, when Teague was out, obviously when he was starting, he got a lot of playing time. But then, towards the end of the season, when Derrick Rose came on the team, then Tyus' playing time dwindled quite a bit.
Derrick Rose was the hotter
But
man.
Derrick Rose did have a good outing in the playoffs.
So what's wrong with that? I mean,
well, as a player who's been the backup point guard, and Tibbs plays a short bench, Tyus is frustrated.
That's just traditional Tom Thibodeau, though. I think if Tyus really does want to make a move, he can go right ahead. He'd either be on a very good team's bench, or he would be on a smaller market, lower team. He'd be out there playing quite a bit. I don't ever see Tyus Jones as a starter anywhere.
He's not a starter. He's a backup point guard. He's
not quick enough. He's very smart with the ball. He's probably one of the best basketball IQs in the league. He knows where to pass it. He's good. He's a good ball handler, but he's not quick. He's not big. And teams want quick, big, fast, and usually smart, right? He only fits 2 of those qualities. So his value is slashed in half already. So he's, I think I don't know. it's tough to judge.
Well, Tyus, I definitely don't want to see him traded, but I think I think it might be fair to ask for some more playing time, especially with Tibbs. You know, he plays a lot of players so many minutes. There's no reason he can't get. I mean, Tyus plays defense, plays hard, makes the right play. You know, you acknowledge
Dunked
all
on
that.
LeBron.
Dunked on LeBron, and all that. And there's no reason that he shouldn't get more of an opportunity than he does, especially with how short of a bench they play. And you know, keep seeing some players get minutes like. Talk about Jamal Crawford. He made a lot of mistakes and he took quite a few bad shots.
He took way too many shots. He took way too many shots.
And he still managed to get, you know, playing time consistently. Although Jamal Crawford apparently was a huge asset in the locker room, but
I can believe that.
But you know, there's no reason why Tyus shouldn't get at least some more playing time.
Would you rather start Jeff Teague, Derrick Rose, or Tyus Jones in the finals?
For the Wolves?
The playoffs, yeah. Not the
Well,
finals.
I mean, definitely Jeff Teague would be starter.
Teague, then would you put Rose after him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
But-
that's fair.
But again, the bench is so shallow. The only other two guys coming off the
And we didn't
bench
get
were
Derrick
Jamal
Rose till
Crawford
half.
and Nemanja Bjelica and Gorgie Dang, you know.
Yeah, we didn't get Rose till over halfway through the season too, so that kind of threw a wrench in for Jones.
Yeah. So
Basically putting him in the third spot.
yeah, so I think that's a fair fair that he can get some more playing time, and it sounds like whatever he discussed with Tom Thibodeau is working it out.
Yeah.
But and then how about on to the Butler and Wiggins thing?
Yeah.
Butler, you know, he's a guy who plays all out, and Andrew Wiggins has been, you know, very lackadaisical on the defensive side of the ball a lot during the season, and apparently Butler was pretty frustrated with that. I mean, what can we take away
Why
from
does Wiggins look
this?
like he's like daydreaming half the time on the court? He looks so slow half the time until he's going up for that thunderous dunk. He looks incredible. Like, wow, why can't he give that effort every single time on the court? He's a good defender when he wants to be a good defender. We all know that every NBA player can be a good defender if they want to be. It's true, but some of them don't even want to put in the effort.
I think that in general, when a veteran player like Butler is saying he's unhappy with a younger player, I tend to agree with the veteran player because they,
Yes.
especially if it's like an effort thing, you know, or a maturity thing. So I don't know. Maybe Butler will find a way to mentor Wiggins and get more out of him, or you know, maybe we'll just move on from Wiggins. I don't know.
Here's the thing. If anything was to happen, Butler would leave for Wiggins. I think that's obvious because
He's only got one more year on his
Yeah,
deal,
but
and Wiggins just got that 5-year extension.
that kind of we were almost forced to give Wiggins that deal, unfortunately, or we would lose him for nothing, or get very little out of his value. We're stuck. This is like Gorgie Jang's contract, but about 3 times worse. We're stuck.
Well, here's what I think. I don't know with Wiggins. I think the contract isn't as big of a problem as everybody seems to make it out to be because people. I feel like everybody's forgetting what he was. Not this last year, but just the year before that. You know, just because of this digression this year, everybody's like really, you know, at Wiggins' throat.
Of course, because this is.
It was a bad season. I think it was. I think we had a lot of expectations out of this first season with Jimmy Butler and Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns, just because Butler came in, we got these new faces. But this team, I think, needed some more time to gel. And then the Butler injury out for 17 games, that obviously affected our seeding because we didn't make the playoffs till the last game of the regular season. And
Yeah, that's
with Jimmy Butler, if he had played those 17 games, things would have looked different. So I think it's kind of an overreaction. I think we just need to see how this year goes and see how Butler can play with Wiggins. I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to be different this year just to see. I think they'll be able to gel more, working together all off season.
Will Butler be extended by the time that happens, or are we going to basically cross our fingers for that year and either hope a very good trade happens or bad luck, he's going to walk?
We need him to sign. We need to do everything we possibly can to get him to sign. Him and Cat both.
We need to do it when we can grandfather him in essentially, so we can go over the cap without getting penalized. We need to do that.
Yeah, the Butler extension needs to come as soon as possible. Both him and Cat need to happen during the season, preferably before.
Very preferably before, but
and hopefully those veteran players on the Wolves and, you know, this is a very. They haven't been playing together for super long. Hopefully they'll be able to be patient and be able to develop that chemistry, because it takes a while to develop good team chemistry. It took a little bit for the Heat with LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh to develop that chemistry. I think the Timberwolves could do some good things, but if we can't sign Butler to a long-term deal after this 1 year, it's gonna be a waste. So hopefully people can be patient and.
I don't want to go back to the 10-year farming. I don't. We cannot go back. Once we lost Kevin Garnett, we went farming for 10 whole years, wasting draft picks.
Missed the
after
playoffs
draft
for
pick.
14 years.
We have Jimmy Butler right here, right now,
With 2 young, good pieces around him
Yes.
too, and a solid,
and
a
solid
decent supporting cast.
roles. Oh my
But
gosh.
we can't blow this now. Especially, we finally made the playoffs. This having a good basketball team. It's something we're just not used to,
with
and
this
it
team and
needs
everyone
to.
healthy, this is an easy 4 seed in the West.
It should.
Because the 3 seed through the 8 seed were separated by 2 or 3 games.
Yeah,
Imagine if Jimmy Butler was healthy this season. Imagine if
the
even Jeff
Wolves
Teague
could
was
have been the
healthy.
3 seed instead of the 8 seed.
We
and
could've been-
That would have been a big advantage.
Yes, it could have at least got us in the second round, where we could have at least lost to Golden State, but that's fine. We at least made the second round.
And a matchup with Golden State would have been better with Houston, even if we were that 7
And we
seed.
would have beat New Orleans the first round, too. We would not have gotten swept.
We wouldn't have gotten swept. I don't know if we would have beat them.
That whole season, even before and after they had DeMarcus Cousins, we had their number. We beat them in the regular season series. Well, I think we could easily be in the playoffs.
I don't know about that,
Portland just
but
had no answer to.
but
Davis.
Portland had nothing for Anthony Davis.
Portland's
but-
always choked in the playoffs. Come on, we've all known this.
Yeah. So going back to these contracts here, talking about this Karl Anthony Towns extension. Obviously, this is the last year of his rookie deal. There had been these rumors that he wanted out, and now we've kind of haven't heard anything
Oh, funny, they all got shut
anything
down.
about that
Oh, I'm
since then.
surprised.
So
I'm surprised, right?
what does this mean? Does this mean we'll see a Karl Anthony Towns extension before the season starts?
We're gonna see a Karl Anthony Towns extension before we see a Butler extension.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
priority number 1, obviously.
Yes.
But are we gonna see that this year? Or is it gonna be a kind of a sad 1 year's contracts
Yeah, see-
expiring? We're hoping for the best.
Oh yeah, we're gonna let one of the best probably a top 5 young promising player in the league just walk. Oof.
Well, no, I'm not saying.
I
But,
can understand. Karl
but
Anthony Towns
if there is some part of him that does want out and he's not ready to sign that extension,
then we gotta trade him immediately. We can't wait. If he wants out, we need to get him out literally as soon as we can to get the highest trade value. The more we hold on to him, the less and less value. Once until you hit trade deadline. He's so valuable up to that point. Then after that, what can you get for him? We can't get. We're gonna lose the trade no matter what when we trade Karl Anthony Towns. Just like the Kevin Garnett trade, we're going to lose the trade no matter what. No matter what crazy deal we get from the Suns or Sacramento. I've been here. That's a weird one. I know.
it's not neither the Suns or Sacramento, but
Those are the 2 that can do it.
Boston. But
Though. Oh hell no.
ideally,
Boston can't afford that. Are you kidding?
ideally, we just sign that extension before this season
Ideally,
starts.
yes, of course.
But, and again, coming out today, Kawhi Leonard it sounds like officially done. I'd heard that it looked like it was going to be a repaired relationship with Kawhi and the Spurs, but not so fast. According to Kawhi's camp today, he is done and wants a trade, preferably to the Los Angeles Lakers, although it doesn't make sense that Popovich would do them any favors. Is there any possibility of a Kawhi trade to Minnesota?
Yes, there is. There is. Simply because we have 2 players, Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns, question marks, right? And
Andrew Wiggins.
But San Antonio will not want that contract. No team in the NBA, unless somehow that contract gets restructured, and it won't. No one's taking that contract. Sorry, we're stuck with them.
Well,
It's Joe Mauer 2.0. We're stuck with them.
you say that, but you talk about think about this though. With the Kawhi Leonard, you have all these rumors. Boston obviously has a lot they can trade for him.
Oh, they have
The
a lot.
Lakers do have a lot, depending on what they want to give up. But You can't tell me that Andrew Wiggins isn't a better centerpiece of a trade than Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, but the contract for the contract. You're not contract.
But
Brandon
you
Ingram
think
has
about the
such
contract.
a smaller contract, and you can grandfather him in. Well, Andrew Wiggins, you have to bring him in, and look at all that money.
It is, but
Gonna eat against your
it
cap.
is a lot of money. But
Especially
it's
for
a 5. So you have him for sure for 5 years locked up.
This is a San
He-
Antonio team
and
that's
if you
going
think-
to be rebuilding the
But you
next
got to
2
think.
years.
You got to think about it in context too. Not coming off. He's coming off off of a worse year. But you got to look back to what he was playing like before that too. And
I get
and
it.
you think with one of the best coaches in the history of the NBA, he could get a lot more out of Wiggins than maybe Tibbs could.
I get it, but I'm going to say it again. The contract. San Antonio will be rebuilding in the next 3 years. I'm calling it right now because I know what's going to happen. They want to have all that money to start building up these players are going to start farming in. They're going to start. It's obvious at this point, is it not? Kawhi Leonard's leaving for a reason. He knows there's no future down there. He wants to win titles more than money, apparently, because you were right about 2 weeks ago how San Antonio was about to offer him the biggest deal in the NBA. It was going to happen.
Do you think he will win titles in LA?
Depends on who goes with him, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Hey, I wanna jump into this.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well,
Please do. You need to calm down.
So I think we can all agree though that if we were able to trade Wiggins for Kawhi Leonard, that'd be a great trade.
Oh my
And-
God, we'd win that trade so bad. But of course, San Antonio would want more.
Yeah, fair
Am I
enough.
wrong?
Fair enough. What do you think it would take? Wiggins and who else?
Either a draft pick.
I'd say probably Wiggins, a draft pick, and maybe even like a Tyus Jones or
Okay.
somebody else.
But then we'd probably have to get Kawhi and someone else with. Or we can give him Gordon
Do you
again.
think?
Let's
Do
give
you
him
think
Gordon
that?
again. Let's
Do you
give-
think that Kawhi would?
they wouldn't want to take both those contracts.
Do you think that Kawhi would be in a good situation to play with Butler and those guys? I mean, does he?
Yes.
Does he kind? Okay. Is okay. I if we got Kawhi Leonard, that'd be that.
Well, I think about the difference.
That's it. That's an interesting.
Kawhi Leonard would be a better fit, honestly, for Minnesota than Andrew Wiggins
Yes.
is, because he's not a score-first player.
Defense.
He's a defensive player.
I thought I
Who,
was gonna-
he had to work on the scoring. Kawhi Leonard was a super good player and super good defensive player, but the thing he had to work on was his scoring abilities, and that ended up developing, and he ended up being a good offensive option. But that wasn't primarily his role he played. So Wiggins is the opposite. He's a scorer, and then whatever else after that. So the fit with that, when you already have a Jimmy Butler who's a better scorer and better with the ball, he's better with the ball too, and Karl Anthony Towns is also a scorer. Kawhi Leonard would be a better fit on the team than Andrew Wiggins is. But I think we got one more last thing with the Wolves here.
What would that be?
Free agency.
Okay, name me off all these players.
So-
that you've written up.
I had a list a while back, but I was reading this article today, and he mentioned 6 wing players that he thinks the Wolves would be good for the Wolves to sign. Number 6 would be Wayne Ellington from Miami this last year he played for.
Yep.
What stuck out to me about him is, and these are all players that you've been talking about 3-and-Ds. This is what this writer Britt Robinson was looking for, is a 3-and-D player.
Okay,
So
just before you continue on, would you rather see a 3-and-D player picked up in free agency or drafted?
free agency,
Okay.
no doubt, because the draft, it's just you don't ever know about a player, and you should try to draft the same thing because that's the NBA nowadays. But
True.
it's I would much rather go the free agency route than the draft. But
Yeah, I can see why.
so Wayne Ellington, he's played 9 years. He's 30 years old. But what stuck out this last year was one of his better years of his career. He made the same amount of 3-pointers as Damian Lillard on 50 less attempts. I guess he's a pretty one-dimensional player where he just he shoots threes a lot, but it sounds like he's a pretty good he's a little older, but 3-and-D. He shot 39.2% this year and he shot 7.5 threes a game, so he's a pretty good option. The 5th option he had on here was Tyreke Evans. Tyreke Evans,
yeah, he had a very good season.
he had a very good year this year for Memphis.
That would be an awesome sign.
And that was he was on a 1-year,
Yes.
$3.3 million
Prove it,
deal. And he proved it.
Hell yeah, he did.
So, Who knows what Memphis is going to do with that? I mean, he's a free agent. He shot 39.9% from three, and he shot 5.5 threes a game, and he's a really good defensive player too. So that's a really good option there. The fourth player, Will Barton for Denver.
Yes.
He said that it would be kind of tough to get him to come into Minnesota because it sounded like he turned down a 4-year, $42 million extension, and there's probably no way we'd be able to offer him more than that. But he had a career high in assists this last year. He did some good defensive rebounding, shot 37% from three. But there's one. Third option you had was Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Yep.
Who he's young. He's the youngest one. Flip Saunders actually wanted to draft him back in 2013,
Rip Flip.
but they were not able to. He had a little bit of a character issue this last year where, what was it? I can't remember exactly what it was, but he had some kind of probation violation. So that would be the one issue with him. But he did shoot 38.3% from three this last year.
Why is he on parole, did they say?
No, probation.
Oh, probation.
It was a probation violation, but he couldn't leave California at one point. So
Wait, was this during the off season?
this was during the season, this
How
last
can you
year.
not leave California if you're on an NBA team?
So he could only play home games, or if they were at Sacramento or something. But
That's funny.
that would, but if he, I think he's cleared now. But if he had a repeat offense, then he would be probably stuck to be in the same area. So that would be as long as you can kind of rely on him staying on the straight and narrow at this point. That would be a good option. But the number two option, and I think the most intriguing, Avery Bradley.
Yes, that would be a very.
He had a bad year this last year. It's a really down year for him, but again, it's kind of like the Wiggins thing. It's having a down year, but you could probably hope for a bounce back season. But he's a defensive player, which Jimmy Butler would love, because I mean, there's a point time that Avery Bradley was the best on-ball defender in the NBA, and even though he had one of his worst shooting seasons this year, 36.9% from three, which still isn't even that bad, but hopefully he could have a bounce back season, and he might be a little bit cheaper than a lot of these players after such a bad season too. So you never know, you could end up getting him. And he said the number one option for the Wolves this year, Joe Harris, who he played in Brooklyn last year. He shot 41.9% from three.
I'll take that.
And that's, he was worse defensively than a lot of these other guys.
I
But
I like that 3-point.
but 41.9% from three, that is something the Wolves, who are one of the worst three-point shooting teams in basketball, could really use. So there's 6 guys that just off that article that he thinks the Wolves should look at, and we definitely need some three-point shooting, because that was a disaster for the Wolves that last year, and you can't compete in this NBA anymore without three-point shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So those are just some interesting targets the Wolves might want to look at.
I think those are good. All right, now let's. All right, let's do a very well. You know what? I don't think there's no need for an NBA Finals review. The Golden State won 4-0. LeBron gave all he had and came up short. That's pretty.
When you're against a super team like Golden State, what do you expect? LeBron is the best player in the world right now, but Golden State is just too talented.
Has four top players on their team.
Yeah.
I mean,
what are you gonna do? Nothing. Sorry.
It's once they got Durant. I mean, it was epic when LeBron beat Golden State. They didn't have Durant, but it was still epic. I think that's his signature title win of his career.
That has to be.
But when they got Durant, it's over from there. They're just too much of a super team, and we saw what we expected to see. I thought Cleveland could win one, maybe one at home. That didn't even happen.
No, they're about to win on the road.
Well,
Game 1, but
here's what I think happened with that is LeBron. I mean, he gave everything that first game. He had 51 points. He had nearly a triple-double. And I think that loss dejected that team so much they just couldn't recover, because they didn't come out the same in any of the games after that. It if they would have won that game, I think the series would have had a completely different outlook. But they didn't sneak that one out away at Golden State, and they lost to a team that's just much better. I mean, it's LeBron versus 4 All-Stars, and you can't expect anybody to come back from that.
You can't come back from that J.R. Smith blunder. But after that happens, you're just done. You know?
You are.
That emotionally wrecks your team when a mental mistake costs you that much, and they just couldn't come back from it. You know.
So yeah,
I think that's all that needs to be said about.
That's all that needs to be said about the NBA Finals, and which I didn't watch as much, but the Stanley Cup. I mean, that didn't last much longer than the NBA Finals did. Capitals. Finally, the curse is over, and they won, and it's pretty fun to see Ovi. He's been partying like crazy ever since that went. I mean, he was like, you see him doing like keg stands out of the Stanley Cup, and then he's like swimming in a fountain outside the Nationals game, and I mean, Ovi finally did it.
He's been drunk for 2 whole weeks. He earned it.
He did it. He earned it.
There's so many individual players in sports who just deserved a trophy in their respective sport. I couldn't find one. I could only find a few that were more deserving than Alexander Ovechkin. He finally got it. Congratulations, Mr. Ovechkin.
Yeah, that's I just feel super happy for him. That's fun to watch.
All right, first things first, I want to congratulate Ovechkin, but I also want to talk about how oddly and weird it is how hockey crazy Las Vegas has gotten. You go and like, I don't even think that they know like hooking, slashing, the rules of hockey, but they still go. They're going like their suits and their casinos, and they're all excited. And it's because you know the major sports team's coming and an expansion team that did very well. They got
even almost better than very well.
But better than if they would have won the championship, that would be like one of the greatest stories in American sports history.
All the Wild fans would insist we basically
So
stop operating our team. Let's just open up a new one.
So
in Minneapolis somewhere.
Let me tell you guys a little secret. I'm kind of a fan of poker, and I watch these poker vlogs. And there's this guy called Daniel Negreanu. I don't know if you heard of him. He's a great poker player. He goes insane for the nights, and he's actually from Toronto, Canada. But there's all these poker players and like suitor celebrities from Vegas that are just totally getting into it. I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good for the town. I think it's good for the Raiders who are coming in. Congratulations to the Nationals, but you also got to hand it off to Vegas for putting together a good team, and you know the people for embracing it. So,
do you think they'll be very happy when the Vegas Raiders come to town in 2 years?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Gruden can turn that thing around, man. Maybe that guy can turn it around a little bit, man. I don't know.
It is going to be the biggest crap storm once that happens. But all right. So
I think Martavis Bryant is just gonna light it up. Sorry,
it's gonna be interesting to see. All right. Anyways, but before we move to higher or lower, I have one more little. I have a sweepstakes actually. You guys want to hear about the sweepstakes?
Yeah.
It's the LeBron James sweepstakes.
What?
And he is going. LeBron James, despite not winning, he won a vacation. Okay, and he had 5 destinations, but San Antonio just got canceled today. They couldn't do it. For some reason. But he has 4 destinations he can go to. Mind if I read them off to you quick?
I'm gonna say there's probably gonna be more than 4, but I'll let you read them off. I'll let you read them off.
These are I'm
gonna let you finish.
These are the 4 I find most realistic. There are obviously, yes, there are more, but these are the 4 I find the most realistic at this point. Now, he could hop on a plane from Cleveland and go straight to the nice California city of Los Angeles. Now, let me tell you why.
We'll let you.
Well, first off, he has the Hollywood scene. So, you know, if he ever wants to go star in a few more movies or, you know, make it after he's done playing the NBA, he's got Hollywood right there.
Hang out with the mumble rappers.
Yeah. You know, he can go hang out with LeVar Ball, you know. They might get along. You never know.
Big baller brand.
Yeah, why not? Exposure. He'd get a ton of exposure in the second biggest city in America.
Yeah, LeBron definitely doesn't have enough exposure. Nobody knows who LeBron is.
He'll get even more if he goes there.
Who's LeBron?
And you know what? He can actually take 2 guests with him. Did you know that?
Oh my gosh!
And
Is this The Price is Right?
This might be.
Man.
He can take
Two guests.
He can take 2 guests with him. Kawhi
Does he
Leonard.
get first class?
Oh, he might.
Okay.
With these two, he might. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Isn't that crazy? You take these guys with.
Kawhi Leonard
Take
is
him
not.
with.
It's not happening.
He can take. What? He can take.
He
him
might
with.
be able to take Chris Paul with though.
I don't know.
I don't know. This is like
But-
Survivor. Who do you
No.
want to take on your reward with? I
But
don't
we
know.
got another showcase, alright?
All right.
Showcase, trip, whatever you want to call this. This is, I just threw this up last second. Now, he can fly. This is a very, kind of a short flight, but he can go from Cleveland to great city. It's got a bell in it. It's Philadelphia.
Ooh.
It's Philadelphia, alright? We've seen the crazy billboards, haven't we? But why does this seem realistic all of a sudden? Think about it. Young core, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, they're going. I had my doubts on Joel Embiid, but I was wrong. These two are going to be superstars.
If Embiid can stay healthy.
That's exactly why. But he's been doing the past few seasons. He's going to be almost the reverse of Yao Ming and just take over. What else? What else has he got? You know, they have a very good shot at advancing through the Eastern Conference Finals, easily. The only team that can match them over there is Boston. That would be. It's probably gonna be an awesome series if that happened. I'd love to watch that. And of course, he could, if he goes to the NBA Finals, who knows? Maybe Eastern Conference team can take it home. But you know what? You guys like staycations, where you just stay in your home.
I mean, I don't like the. I like them sometimes, but I don't like
Okay.
the one you're about to propose. I don't
Well,
like
why
it.
can't
I don't
LeBron just
like
have
it.
a staycation?
I don't
He
like
stay
it,
home.
Sam.
He can be the hometown hero. No more.
He already was.
No more burning jerseys. No more burning jerseys. He can stay there. And you know what? You can always trade. He can always trade for stars. Can he not? It's LeBron James. He can dial it up. Say, you know what? Do this, this, and this. I'm the GM. Click. Moves happen. How do you think that Laker and Utah Jazz trade happened? It's not like LeBron whispered in the ear and say, "Hey, give me these players, please." It happened. Good trade for stars.
I'd like to see the Cavs make something happen with LeBron. They haven't been able to do that very often.
It could happen though. If
Danny Gilbert.
This Dan Gilbert. All right, we're gonna. So it could happen. It could happen. But and you could also end up earning another additional trip to the NBA Finals. Just saying, this could happen. But you know what? Maybe he's just feeling a little. He wants to go south. You know, where it's hot, dry. Let's just go get on a plane and go to Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. He can.
We have
There's
a problem.
already, you know what? There's already 2 guests waiting for him down there. Chris Paul and James Harden. They're already down there. They're waiting for him. They say, "Hey, come on, buddy. No, let's go do some stuff."
That sounds like a nightmare contractually, but go on.
Let's go eat some beef jerky and go shoot some guns. That's what Texans like to do.
There's no state tax in Texas.
That's what I loved about Texas. Yeah, wish I could go back. Finally, a challenge to Golden State. After these 3 years, they can go take an initial trip to San Francisco and win. And this could be this could be a very possible finals win. So there's obviously a few more minor vacations I've seen, like Washington D.C. or New York, but
Boston.
Boston.
Good. Oh, all right. Yeah. Let's not get too crazy here.
I think Boston is feasible.
They don't
I
got
think
the
they can trade. They could trade.
Boston-
They could trade Kyrie to New York. You know.
All right.
Didn't he already say he wanted to
Before
play
we
there?
go on to additional destinations,
And there's a lot of good. Okay, sorry. There's a lot of good
No,
young
it's fine.
talent there. I'm just saying. There's more than 4 spots.
So,
There's more than 4 doors for LeBron.
out of these 4 spots that he has,
Fine, we'll go with 4.
which one do you think he will take and why? Starting with Calvin.
All right. I think he should take the spot in Philadelphia, but I think he will take the spot in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Now there's definitely other things that are involved. Like you're gonna want to bring another superstar there, but
I think multiple.
But LeBron James has a house there. There are good schools where you can enroll, where he can enroll his sons in terms of basketball, athletically and academically. His wife has said
Chino Hills.
Oh yeah. You won't be able to.
Alright.
You won't be able to play with Melo, but you know.
Go on.
He
I
can't
just
play in Latvia, you know.
I just want to throw that in there.
All right. His wife has said either Cleveland or LA. They have houses there. Moving's annoying.
By the way, his wife did basically spoil it that he was going back to Cleveland 3 years ago. Just saying.
Ooh.
Just saying. This did happen.
Obviously, you know, you're gonna be very close with your wife, and so, look, obviously, championships, his legacy, all of that is important to LeBron. And if Magic Johnson and the Lakers ownership can find a way to bring another superstar there, and they can, because they're a huge brand in basketball, they have some good young players that they can trade for. If they can do that, I think that's a place where LeBron wants to go, and I think it's feasible that again. Now I like him going to Philadelphia more because I like Simmons and Embiid, and I think that those are players that he can build around. And even when he starts to get older, I know that seems crazy. LeBron against Father Time and getting older, he can. They Simmons and Embiid can rely on him now, but as James gets older, James can rely on Simmons and Embiid to win more championships and add to his legacy. So I like the Philadelphia move better, but I think at this point it's more likely to go to LA because LeBron wants to make a priority of his family, and you know, I'll take what his wife says, you know. So
Okay.
that's my.
So you're saying it's
I'm
probably
saying
going to
LA.
be Los Angeles, but you want it to be Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Nolan, please tell me out of the 4 showcases, which one LeBron should take.
All right. Well, I'm gonna throw out Philadelphia right away. It's
Okay.
not gonna be Philadelphia.
Okay.
Ben Simmons
Okay.
and him are the same player. It's not gonna work.
All right.
It doesn't. I don't think it makes any sense for him to go to Philadelphia. I think it makes more sense for him to go to Boston. Although I'm not gonna say he's going to Boston. We're going out of these 4.
We can discuss that
I'm also gonna
after this.
throw out L.A. So I'm gonna throw both of them.
Why throw it LA? It's a really good
Ka-
deal.
Kawhi-
Really good deal.
Kawhi Leonard will not be traded there. Even if Paul George follows him there, that's not going to be enough to beat the Warriors. LeBron is concerned with championships. So I do not see him in LA unless by some miracle they end up getting Kawhi Leonard there.
Okay, so
But I
we
don't
got-
see that as
we
a
only have
possibility.
2 showcases left. Are you gonna throw out the other one or?
I'm gonna say he's gonna go to Houston.
Okay.
I think him and CP3 apparently are very good friends, and if he could take CP3 to LA with him and Paul George, that would be one thing. But I don't know if they got 3 Supermax slots available there in LA.
The
But,
Rockets would have to go bare bone in order to clear up cap space, but you got to take that into account.
They got to go minimum contract.
They gotta pretty much just keep their core of a CP3, James Harden.
It is a luxury
Ryan
tax. So they could just pay the luxury tax.
I don't. Yeah.
I mean, that's
Ryan Anderson has a huge contract. Like
yeah.
that's
They're
something
gonna cut. It
get
sounds like
rid
they're
of.
gonna cut him.
There should be a hard cap in the NBA for tax. By the way, there should be a hard cap where you can't pass.
Well,
I'm
you
not
can say
discrediting
that,
Houston, but I'm saying it's
But
hard
there should be.
contractually. But go ahead.
But I think it's gonna be Houston. Him and CP3 are really good friends. Harden has been able to move the ball around, and LeBron's not a score-first player, so he can feed Harden, and him and CP3 and Harden can move the ball around, and they could be a really exciting thing to watch in Houston. And with LeBron there, I mean, they almost beat Houston this year, and CP3 couldn't even play in game 6 and 7. So there's no reason to believe that this team with added LeBron James couldn't beat Golden State and win the finals.
That's another super team.
Although I do think there is also a chance he stays in Cleveland. His family's already plugged in there. He's got houses there.
Got a huge reputation. All right, so now I'm going to give you guys the chance to add one additional showcase and tell me why. Starting with Calvin. There's probably many you want to add, but just one. Strongest case.
All right. Well, you know what? I think Nolan's gonna want to add Boston, so I'm gonna give him that. But I'm gonna kind of say something that'll be kind of surprising. What about the Knicks?
I don't find that surprising. All right, go on.
Go to New York. There, when he was making his decision, was it part 1 or part 2?
Part 1.
I think maybe both of them. I definitely know for part 1. Wanted to go play in New York. Now I know Melo's not there anymore, but you have kind of the same allure of LA, where it's a large population. You can build your brand. I know that LeBron already has a big brand. Let me tell you why this might not be as crazy as it sounds. LeBron is a great player, and sometimes he likes to take on projects. Like when he went to Cleveland, he was taking on a project. I know he brought Kevin Love with him, but he is not afraid of a challenge, and he could do good things in New York. He could do good things anywhere. The other good thing about New York, and I know that this is going to be the same as with Boston or wherever, it's also in the East. So you definitely you don't want to be against Houston and Golden State. But yeah, that's kind of a dark horse out there. What if LeBron says, I want to go to New York, I want to shock everybody? Now I don't think that will happen, but add another thing into the sweepstakes. Why not?
Tell me, Nolan, how in the heck Boston is going to somehow get LeBron over there? How?
Think about
Tell
this.
me everything that Boston has to do in order to get him first.
Well, initially when all this was coming out, I was like, no, LeBron definitely. I was like, Boston's interesting, but he's not going to go there because of the whole Kyrie thing. Well, now it sounds like Kyrie doesn't want to re-sign in Boston. It sounds like they might trade him. So that leaves the whole, him and Kyrie disagreeing. That's out now. I think there's even a possibility they trade Gordon Hayward because he's got that huge contract and he's still an intriguing player to teams where he's not unmovable.
He's an all-star.
He's not that's not like a like you were saying with the Andrew Wiggins contract where people are going to be that, or the Blake Griffin contract, although they somehow get. I gotta just say this quick.
No wonder Stan Van Gundy got fired out of Detroit.
Let me say this quick. If that Blake Griffin contract can be moved, any contract can be moved. So Wiggins' contract can be moved.
I still want to disagree, but go on.
Going back to Boston, but could you imagine LeBron again? He's going to want a chance to win titles. He's got Brad Stevens is maybe the best coach in the NBA right now. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are two of the most promising young players in the NBA. I mean, Al Horford is a really good veteran. He's a perfect big for a modern NBA. And this team's got really good young talent. It's got a strong core. Add LeBron to it. That would be a team that could be a serious threat against Golden State to win the finals. They got much more of a crew than Cleveland had this year. And I think LeBron could maybe settle up in Boston.
To happen, Kyrie has to go. And then you probably got to dump Hayward as well.
I'm not saying they have to, but I think
yeah, at least
likely
Irving,
I'd say likely Kyrie would be traded if LeBron. Although I even heard one report saying that Kyrie was trying to recruit him to Boston. That's got to be erroneous
probably
because
Bleacher Report. All right.
Got to be erroneous because the whole reason Kyrie wanted to be traded was because of LeBron. But yeah, I think there's a good chance that they could trade Kyrie Irving, even regardless of LeBron going there or not, and then kind of bring in. You never know. They could bring in LeBron. I think that's a dark horse.
The sweepstake I believe LeBron will be taking will not be Los Angeles. Mark that off the list. And I don't think it'll any of the. No offense, but I don't think it'll be any of the two you said. Just because, obviously Eastern Conference. I believe he will still stay in the Eastern Conference, but it will not be with Boston. Won't be with New York. You probably already guessed what I'm saying. LeBron James will go to the Philadelphia 76ers.
It's a good fit. It's a good fit.
I don't know why not. They have a lot of money. They have a ton of money they can work with right now.
They have Ben Simmons.
Yeah, they have a ton of money because he's still under.
No, I know. What I'm saying is though, Ben Simmons and LeBron, they're the same. They play the same way.
There's a lot of
LeBron can play off the ball though. He's developed enough to have Ben Simmons be able to facilitate and handle the ball, and he can play off the ball. I think LeBron is seasoned enough to be great at a different role, even
Yes, that's why I think it doesn't matter if they have the same player. They're just stacked enough where I think they could even get another player in Philadelphia and simply
Paul George.
Yes, Chris Paul even. You never know.
They have a lot of cap space.
They do before they have to give Embiid and Simmons their money. Yes, yeah. So they could play with LeBron for 2 years and then he could retire. Doesn't matter. Boom. That could be.
Or you have the decision part for whatever.
Stop. That needs to stop. He can be a 38 at this point. Only like a couple teams will be interested. But at this point,
LeBron's only 33.
33. Yeah.
Isn't he?
I believe that.
I think he's 32.
32.
No, 33.
He has a couple. If he signs a short-term 2-year deal, there will be a decision for.
All right, I guess that's fair. But I believe once he hits the age 35, I'm gonna predict it's gonna start going down.
Yeah, but teams will still want him.
He'll go right back to Cleveland. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, that'd be crazy.
Okay, well, wow.
Anyway.
This has been a long podcast, but we gotta finish it off
okay.
today. No, hold on. You think you want to talk about the NFL
okay.
draft?
So I won't make this very long because it's been a long podcast, but I heard that you guys were doing it. It made me excited, and I wanted to join in. And I listened to a couple of your podcasts, and they're good.
Fair.
So I listened. The one I found most intriguing was where you talked about the NFL draft, and this is after it already happened, so we knew all the picks, and you guys gave a lot of good analysis that I liked. So I'm not gonna criticize and go into it too much, but I just want to highlight some of the things that maybe I thought you missed.
Go right ahead.
So I think it was Blayne's job to analyze this pick, and it was Roquan Smith. And Blayne didn't seem to know too much about it.
All right. Blaine's only on here for the college basketball and the high school basketball. Let's get that on.
I want to say something.
I know you won't listen to this.
Roquan Smith is gonna be a monster in the NFL. I think it's between him and Chubb for Defensive Rookie in the Year. I don't know if you guys got the chance to watch some of the college football playoffs with him against Alabama.
Yeah,
and that guy, you just hear his name all the time, making plays, blowing up plays, making tackles. He just does so much at that linebacker position, which is something that the Bears need. Let's be honest, the Bears need a lot. So I just want to point out there, I think Roquan Smith deserves more airtime, and I think he's going to be a great player. So get that out of the way. So the other thing is I agree with a lot of what you said about the quarterbacks. I think Baker Mayfield.
Specifically who?
In regards to Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. And so one of the things is I think that Allen and Rosen have a little bit more upside than you might have given him credit for. I understand that you don't really like Rosen's attitude.
First of all, I'm for Rosen. It was Nolan and Blayne who were just bashing Rosen just because of that comment. They probably they probably never seen him play.
There were 9 mistakes made in front of me.
They did not like that comment, so they got triggered. They're like, they probably never seen him play before. By the way, I know Blayne hasn't for sure.
Okay,
he does not watch college football. He gets instantly upset.
Blayne had the most intense opinions, and he's like,
that's how Blayne is. He doesn't make crazy predictions. He's just intense.
So I guess all I want to say is I think that Allen could be a good quarterback. He went to a small school in Wyoming, but he has a good arm, and he showed a lot. When I watched him, he showed a lot of arm talent and accuracy. I know he's not playing against huge schools, but LaShawn McCoy came out and said he liked Allen, and he doesn't typically like rookies, but he likes Allen. And is it Tyrod Taylor who's going to be behind? No, he's in the Bucs.
He's in Cleveland.
Who's the
Tyrod Tayl's?
Nathan
Who's the starter?
AJ McCarron.
Who's the starter on Buffalo?
AJ McCarron.
It's between AJ McCarron and Allen. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
obviously it won't happen, but Nathan Petterin is in the mix.
Okay.
Unless he's not.
Well, I got that wrong. So maybe Allen doesn't have the opportunity to
start right away.
Maybe. Well, no, he probably will start right away, but I think it's better. I think it's sometimes better for rookies to get the opportunity to learn from somebody. So I don't think AJ McCarron's the guy that you necessarily would pick to learn from. But anyway, I think Allen has more upside, and then I think I think the whole thing with Bradford and Rosen. Bradford is gonna get injured really quick, and then I don't. I mean,
I can't believe
I-
that deal Bradford got though.
Yeah.
Bradford and didn't Glennon go down there? They got like big deals.
so I
Really?
think
Those guys?
the Cardinals are going to
Oh,
rely on a lot
that's
on
a rant
Rosen.
for
We're going to
itself.
see a lot about what he can possibly do. Okay, so during this podcast, this wasn't about the draft, but you got. I think this is another Blayne thing. I wish Blayne was here.
Oh, I wish he
Blayne
was too.
talked crap about Marcus Sherrills. Now let me
Oh,
explain
I
something.
Yeah, that was
I
definitely-
remember
that guy is valuable, and as a returner,
Will he be
and-
valuable next year though when returns go away?
not if
That's
returns
punt-
go.
that's
That's he's a punt
He's-
returner. He's not a
what
kick
a punt
returner.
He's
go
a
away.
good special teams player, and you know what, Blayne? Do not diss Marcus Sherrills. He's a Rochester boy. Give him some credit. You
No,
know?
but he's gonna say you're a homer. That's what Blayne.
Oh,
That's
whenever
what he said.
Blaine's
That's what he
losing-
said about me when I kept
Whenever
defending
Blaine's
him.
losing an argument, he goes straight to, "Oh, you're just a homer." But then he'll brag about his North Dakota hockey team not winning. The
With all those
homer
homer comments, you'd think he'd live in North Carolina or something with all that. Anyway,
Wait, what?
He's
What's
no. Blaine's not a homer. He's a bandwagon.
yeah.
Linda,
Yeah, he's a
He
bandwagon.
picks and chooses his teams. It's obvious. Then he'll go, "Oh, I do
Alright.
like the Vikings this year."
This-
Just this year though.
This last one, you guys talked about them drafting the kicker in the 5th round, and I think Kai's going. I think they're gonna have Carlson week 1. You don't draft a kicker that high, but Kai could show us something, and Kai Forbath. I as long as it motivates them to get in some kind of kicking competition and have Kai figure out how to make his dang extra points, that's helpful anyways. But I think Carlson's the guy. He was great at Auburn. He's a really solid kicker. He can kick it far.
Did not miss a PAT, even though they are close. He did not miss one.
So I think I at first I was like, a kicker, really? I'm like, oh, it's that kicker. Okay, I'm fine with it.
I had to when I saw that I had to blink and I was like, wait, that wasn't Tampa Bay who just drafted a kicker?
All right, but it was in the 5th round, not the first. Wait, was
It was the second round.
Second round.
Oh, that was, and they trade. By the way, they traded
Aguayo.
Aguayo was Aguayo.
I think that was the year that they were on Hard Knocks, or maybe not. Yeah, that was the year that
He
they were
was
on Hard Knocks, and he was just doing bad. And they picked that guy in the 2nd round.
But he was
he's
such.
a
To
kicker.
be fair, he was such a good college kicker. But you're gonna take
The
that risk.
2nd round.
And plus they did trade up for him.
Oh man.
I mean, he's not no Ray guy.
When they cut him on Hard Knocks, I'm like, oh, that's just got to be so painful. For
I don't think
Buccaneers
any
fans.
kicker will be like Ray guy. Ray guy was a punter.
He was a
drafted in
punter.
the 1st round. But guess what? He's a Hall of Famer now for. A
Oh
reason.
yeah, they have. Now he made his speech and he's like, "Now we have a whole team in the Hall of Fame." Anyway.
But-
So overall, I liked your analysis. Those are some things that I wanted to add.
Yep.
And yeah. So
All right. You got a coin anywhere, Nolan? We
I
got a
do.
flip. All right. So, higher or lower? Since this is Calvin's debut, by the way.
yeah, debut.
So here's how we play, Calvin. So I'm gonna flip a coin. It's gonna be heads or tails. Whoever calls it gets to select.
Is it me and Nolan?
Yes,
Okay.
I will be saying the questions. Best out of 7. So first to 4 wins, and then you can go for the smoke show if it's not done. I'm just waiting for a sweep. What do we do if someone sweeps? We gotta do something, right?
Pull a
A
plank
7?
on brain.
You gotta get a
7?
broom and like.
Oh, 7. Oh, I think 7. Oh, I just dropped that coin.
Well, I'll
That's
just
not
grab
good.
another one.
Dang it! It's a quarter too. I don't
Don't lose all my quarters. Sam.
Okay,
They're
why you
worth
give me
25
quarters? These are
cents.
valuable. Like 25 pennies right here. But
Not with inflation.
that's true. But anyways,
50-cent share.
yeah,
I had to change his name to
honestly
$1.
think if you lose 7-0, you just gotta leave. Like I'm not gonna lie. I think it's probably never gonna happen a 7-0. But if it does, they just gotta
That's
leave.
statistically highly unlikely.
Especially in this game.
It would be
especially in this.
so according to combinatorics, each time the person has a 50% chance to win. So somebody winning 7 times is 2 to the 7th, 1 and 2 to the 7th, or yeah. 1 and 2 to the 7th. So that's very unlikely.
Oh, it could happen though if Blayne comes back. Anyways, so
That's like flipping 7 coins in a row, or
getting
and
heads, yeah.
getting 7s for all 7. So.
Okay, so I'm gonna flip the coin, and if whoever goes first, and let's say I ask you the question first. I'm gonna ask you a question. What should I ask? Okay.
How many gallons of water are in all the oceans?
Yeah, how many gallons are in the water? Give me a random guess.
3 quintillion.
All right, Nolan. is how many gallons in all the oceans higher or lower than 3 quintillion?
Lower.
Oh man, I don't know if you're right or wrong.
I think I looked this up. I think it is about 3.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's because I watched your podcast and you talked about that.
And then, shoot, I'm gonna flip it back. Then I'm gonna flip it back to Nolan, and he's gonna answer the question, and then you're gonna go higher or lower. All right. 7 questions. They're all sports related.
Oh, I'm not gonna do well then.
Past and present. Good luck. Galbone, you're the guest. Heads or tails in the air?
Tails.
Does tails never fail? It's heads.
Oh,
Nolan
man.
O'Hara. Would you like to go first or like Calvin to go first?
I'll let Calvin go first.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's always been the theme here.
This is gonna be a little embarrassing. Guys.
Next time I get it, I'm gonna go first.
I'm a little nervous.
No one's on that.
about
All right.
this.
It's okay. Take your time.
All
I
right.
can repeat the question if you want me to.
Okay. In Spanish. En español.
Oof. I don't know about that. But I got your tongue. All right. Question 1. So, we saw the Las Vegas Knights make it all the way to the Stanley Cup, right? And the thing is, this horrified all the bookkeepers at the Las Vegas because they were going to lose so much money if Vegas did win this. The odds were reportedly 500 to 1, and people make $10 bets on this thing. Like, they were going to lose a fortune. So they were trying to buy back tickets. They were trying to get all this stuff. And then some Vegas sportsbooks almost referred to this as the 1991 Minnesota Twins when they won the World Series from being essentially worst to first. I'm going to ask you, what were the odds of the Minnesota Twins winning the World Series in 1991?
Okay, 1 to 500 is a little crazy. I'm gonna go with 1 in 350.
1 in 350. Nolan, higher or lower? The Minnesota Twins' chances at winning the 91 series, 350 to 1.
Lower.
Well, you're going to kick yourself because the correct answer is 500 to 1.
Oh my
Calvin,
gosh.
that's your point. Oof.
Dang.
Is
That-
the same
'cause they-
same as the Vegas?
It was because they were the first team to go worst to first. So, of course, you're going to... That's kind of like putting Miami... at
What
the
are the
bottom.
Browns' odds to win the Super Bowl?
Oh, my gosh.
Even that I think is like 350 to 1.
No, it's got to be much... Almost like 150. We'll look that up after this quickly. But, all right. So, Nolan, it is now your question. You are down
All right.
1-0.
All right.
So, we all know how LeBron James, did in the finals. He did pretty good. He did pretty good. But, unfortunately, the better player got the NBA Finals award. Kevin Durant.
The better player? What?
Are you Googling your phone, Nolan?
I'm Googling odds to win the Super Bowl. My bad, I'll shut it off.
Oof. I don't... No integrity. You got to get some mirrors behind you now. But, the better player
Learn
obviously won
from
the NBA
Pastor
Finals.
Joseph. Come on.
Better player won the NBA Finals, obviously. How many points per game did Kevin Durant average in the 4-game NBA Finals?
35.
35. Calvin, did Kevin Durant average higher or lower than 35 points per game?
Lower.
The correct answer is 28.8. Calvin, that's another point for you.
See, you know why? You know who did average 35 points per game in
Okay,
the
all right,
finals?
so that's not
You know
the
who did
question.
average
You want to
35?
know that was not the question? And you just totally...
I mean, Sam, you did preface it by saying that Durant was the best.
Of course I did, because I'm the host of this game. I can do it.
Yeah.
You're the host.
Yeah, shouldn't the best player have averaged
And I
more
don't-
points?
And I don't have to answer a question. Well, did he win the MVP? Most valuable player?
He should have.
Nope.
Who deserved the MVP? Who was the best player
All right,
in the
moving on to
finals? Who
question
deserved
3.
the MVP?
Question 3. Calvin, this is going to you. So, obviously, we heard the terrible news this week of former third baseman all-star Miguel Sano get bumped down to single A, or Class A, single A. It sucks anyways. It doesn't matter. He's not in the MLB
I can
anymore.
play on that team. Come on, guys.
If Tim Tebow can play in that team, I think one of us could at least get a single. So, what was Miguel Sano's batting average before he got moved down to the minors? What was his batting average this year in the MLB? Only 2018.
Well, it has to be pretty bad if he got bumped down. So I'm going to at least give him some kind of challenge. I'll say 180.
180. Nolan O'Hara, was Miguel Sano's batting average higher or lower than 180 before he got moved down?
Higher.
The correct answer was 203. Nolan, you're finally on the board. The sweep. All right, put your brims away, Blayne. It's not happening today. It's gonna.
Put your bulletproofs.
It's gonna happen one. I hope it happens. Even if it happens to me, I just want to.
Hey, can we collude against Blayne and just give everybody the answers?
You know, that's not a bad.
Hey, Blayne, if you're listening to this, we're colluding against you next week.
He won't be listening to this. All right. Anyways, so moving on to now question 4. Nolan, your turn, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we've obviously heard about the Golden State Warriors shooting a bunch of threes, making a bunch of threes. Houston missing a bunch of threes, but however, Steph Curry does not hold the record for the most consecutive three-pointers made. You know who does?
Ray Allen?
Ty Lawson does.
Don't say Ty Lue. Don't say Ty.
Ty Lue's the guy who Allen Iverson stepped over.
Yeah.
That's all he's known for. Ty Lawson holds the NBA record with this amount of consecutive threes.
13.
13. Calvin, higher or lower than 13? Consecutive three-pointers
That's
made.
a good guess. Well, it's an NBA record. Higher?
The correct answer is 10 consecutive three-pointers. That's a very good guess. You can go either way. Nolan is tied up now 2-2. Finally, this is going to be interesting. Calvin, your turn. So we're talking about MVP races and how unfair it is. It's true, but let's rewind the clock, shall we? This was between Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. Bill, I didn't find the year for this because I was rushing, but Bill Russell won the MVP award over Wilt Chamberlain despite averaging this amount of points per game. How many points did Wilt Chamberlain average that year that he got beat?
He got beat for the MVP award?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, how many points did
How many
Wilt
points
Chamberlain? Okay.
average? But he still got beat out.
35.
35. Nolan, higher or lower than 35 points per game?
Lower.
The correct answer is 50.4 points per game, and he didn't even win.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Calvin, that is a point for you. Calvin, if you get one more point, you win.
All right.
Nolan, you got to get these next two.
All right.
I hope you got the answers I slipped you underneath. All right. Question number 6. So, we talked a lot about baseball, but we're going to wind back the clock again. Because that's what I like doing, like wind back the clock. Babe Ruth was a great player for the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees, right? All-time great. Apparently they didn't cheat. Had a little slice of lettuce under his baseball cap when he played. Isn't that weird?
That's
Babe
really
Ruth
weird.
had a slice of lettuce.
Yes, he did.
I guess he didn't want to eat it.
No way. How many World Series did Babe Ruth win with the New York Yankees?
2.
2. Calvin Bonin for the win. Higher
So
or
if
lower,
it's lower, he only
than
won
2.
One. Higher.
Correct answer is 4. Calvin, you have
no idea.
won, but guess what? We got one more question to go. Oof. Man,
I'll jot down
I
Calvin's
think that's
point.
Nolan's first loss, actually. Wow. That has to be your first loss. Is
No,
it
I
not?
think I've lost before.
Not to me. You beat me one time. All right, no, Blayne, you haven't even beat me.
Blayne's got 1 point. Now Calvin's got 1 point.
This
You have 2 and I have 3.
Okay.
So that's the all-time
I'm
standings.
tied with Blayne after one day.
don't be proud of that, Calvin. But there's one more question to go, so you can go 5-2 here.
All right.
Just to slam to the ground, I guess. And plus, I kind of like this question too. Okay, so everyone's obviously complaining about how football, they got 60 minutes on the clock, but they're only really playing for like less than 10 minutes.
Wait, what?
Yeah, did you not know that? Like actual playing of the game, like the clock's
Okay,
always
I
running.
guess it runs. Yeah.
But
fair enough.
They
okay.
snap the ball to down, right? But people don't realize there should be a bigger complaint about baseball when you're sitting there for 3 hours and you only get this many minutes of action per game. How many minutes?
Does
of
it
action
count
are
if
you
like
getting?
as the pitcher pitches to the catcher?
No, the ball has to be in play.
The ball has to be in play. 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Okay. Nolan, higher or lower than 3 minutes?
Higher.
Correct answer is 18 minutes.
Oh man.
And
Wait, what? So the ball has to be in play. Okay.
18 minutes.
All right.
I guess it could be out of the pitcher's hand too. This is just
Wait, it could be out of the pitcher's hand.
could have been.
Ah.
It could have been. Doesn't matter. You won anyways.
All right,
Yeah, he won.
I could
You won.
have been burned for that question, but it just says in play. I never implied. So
All right, that's fine.
I found that thing off the Huffington Post, so no wonder.
Huffington.
Okay.
Anyways, I think we're about ready to wrap it up here, right?
43. No, we gotta keep going for another hour. What are you talking about? All right.
That's a long one.
All right, but we always close the show with a hot take.
Ooh.
Am I right?
We've been doing
Am
that
I
lately.
right?
We've been doing that lately.
Okay. So, are there any big sporting events coming up next week at all? Or in the month?
World Cup,
Okay.
U.S. Open.
Oh, World Cup. Actually,
US
I'm
Open's
actually going
going.
to make a World Cup prediction. But Nolan obviously doesn't watch the World Cup, so he has no clue what to even do about that. But anyways, that's not the point. Nolan O'Hara, your hot take, please.
You got one of you two's got to go first. I gotta think of something.
Calvin, do you
there.
have
I
a hot
got
take
one.
already?
I actually got one. So
You
we
go
got
right ahead.
we got the U.S. Open going on right now, and Dustin Johnson is at -4, I think.
Correct.
And the closest guy to him is at even.
Okay.
So let me make my hot take. Tommy Fleetwood,
Tommy Fleet,
who's at +1, is gonna win the U.S. Open over Dustin Johnson by at least 2 strokes. That
That is so
my hot.
precise. Like you almost know
Well, you
what's
can't-
going to happen.
You can't say he's gonna win because
That's
I mean he's fairly close, but he's
Yeah.
gonna win. I think it makes it enough of a hot take to specify that it has to be 2 strokes. So that's
Yeah.
my hot take right there. Tommy Fleetwood, 2 strokes. Get it, buddy.
1 second. By the way, odds for Cleveland to win the Super Bowl 66-1.
See, they won't go over 100 with NFL teams.
The worst is the Miami Dolphins, the Cincinnati Bengals, New York Jets, and Chicago Bears at 100-1.
Yeah, that
What are
makes-
the Vikings?
The Vikings
Oh, we got to be
are
like 10-1.
10-1.
10 to 1. I literally just said 10 to 1.
Higher or lower winner?
I would have actually got the higher lower question spot. Has anyone ever gotten a higher lower question spot on yet? I came close.
I think
one
we
time.
have
I came
once.
close. Because I remember it was that one question where how many points did Tracy McGrady score?
You were close.
I said 11. It was 13. I just remember that because I remember watching that game over and over. And I just went out to save stuff. But anyways, for my hot take, the World Cup's going on. Oh, by the way, congratulations to the North America for winning the 2026
Oh, we
bid.
didn't talk about that.
We
man.
should have
All
talked
right,
about
should
that.
we talk about that next podcast? Or
We
just
could.
get in a little bit about
we
now?
could talk about it next podcast. It really
It doesn't. There's nothing more to say about it than to mention it.
I guess
It's
you
completely
It's
unimportant.
It's great for U.S. soccer. The last time we hosted a World Cup, we got the MLS out of it. So it's great. We got a lot of young
I love the
developing
MLS.
players, and we're sharing it with Canada and Mexico. But it's definitely something to be excited about. And hey, we get that automatic vid.
We gotta talk more, honestly. Blayne and Nolan are anti-soccer,
Yes,
like
it
circle
just
jerkers.
doesn't
they
matter.
literally hate soccer with a passion.
It's just unimportant. It's irrelevant.
Oh, it's only the most important sport in the world.
Exactly. We need you on the
This
show
is
more. Oh
haven't,
my god.
Haven't you seen all the memes where like America thinks a map of the world looks like, and then it's just America? Yeah, that's where we got to be with the soccer thing. This is America.
close-minded.
This is America. We don't
There's
care about
two
soccer.
things that America does wrong. First of all, we don't use the metric system, and second of all, we don't like soccer.
Oh,
I like soccer. I am a season ticket holder, Minnesota United. Let's go.
Ooh.
I am.
Oh, did you go to TCF?
Yes, I do go to TCF.
Awesome, man. Come stay at my apartment.
I'll have to. I have a game in September. We'll see.
We party all the time. We study physics all the time.
Oh boy, I
You
got.
get
Well, I'm studying.
I've never been to a party. Okay, sorry.
I haven't either. None cool. All right. My hot take on the World Cup. Well, there's a lot of really powerful nations in it. We got Brazil, who's gonna be good. Germany, who's gonna be good. But I'm gonna go with a little bit of a dark horse. If the Belgium squad can get together,
Ooh.
they've been working toward. They've really dominated the Premier League this year. All those players, Hazard, they got Courtois in net, Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne, all these players. I think if they all have to click though. Every single one play have to click. I believe
That would be
will
so
be-
epic for Belgium, a small country. Yeah.
I agree. It's probably I'm probably gonna see a Brazil versus Belgium final, or at least those two teams are gonna end up meeting up some point, and Belgium will be taking it home. Nolan O'Hara, Mr. Hot Takes. Let's go, bud. Come on, we know he's full of hot takes.
You know, I don't
You should
know.
read all those other podcasts. he's
If he
on.
likes soccer, he'd have a good hot take, I bet.
Nah, he doesn't. What is this? What's this? All right, so tell us.
This one's gonna be really hot, where it's not gonna happen.
Plasma.
But it's a dark horse. It's a dark horse to happen.
I like dark horses. Not your last prediction, but
LeBron's gonna shock the world, and he's gonna come to Minnesota
Oh!
and play with Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns.
win the
and
championship.
win an NBA Finals, win some rings.
Can we please have realistic hot takes when we do this, Nolan?
It's a dark horse.
Are you seriously thinking that? Like, honestly.
It's a dark horse.
Just honestly.
It's a hot take.
You think it could happen?
It's a hot take.
It's a hot take.
You think it could happen though? Like,
I think honestly, I think it's more realistic than some of the teams you're talking about.
Like who?
Like who? Who?
The Knicks, more realistic than the Knicks.
Okay,
I didn't say that. I didn't
yeah,
say that.
Okay, it is more realistic than the Knicks. Maybe I should have added that to the sweepstakes.
More real. I mean, if we're talking about all the teams they're talking about, LeBron going to, it's more realistic than him going to the Clippers.
Never said that.
No, but people have been saying that.
More realistic than the Bulls.
More realistic than the Bulls.
That's out of left field. All right.
More realistic than Toronto.
I guess extend Dunn and Levine. They'll have no money left.
Yeah, so it's a dark horse.
All right.
Katy Perry.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today on this podcast. If you want to listen to more, please go on our YouTube channel, The Purple Kool-Aid Man, on MinneSports. If you want to continue the conversation, go on to our Reddit page on r-MinneSports, and also please look out for tweets on our account r-MinneSports5. Thank you for listening. See you next time.